What's going on, my creative collective? Welcome, Gemini. This is your May creative forecast. So, we're going to dive right in here. There's a lot happening. So, just as a quick overview, we went into Pluto retrograde on April 29th, as well as having the Taurus new moon on the same day. So, those two things together kind of brought us into an eclipse season as well, Taurus new moon particularly. And from there, we also have the Mercury retrograde on May 10th. And then on May 16th, we have the Scorpio full moon. And there's a lot of Mars energy afoot this month too. So we're going to see what that all means in the tarot, right? It could mean that there's some energies that are activated this month. Not in a bad way, just got to ride it out, right? We can all do it. So we are going to dive right in here. I would like to invite the angels, my guardian angels, my spirit guides, protectors, teachers, and their healing energy to this space. And I ask that it is a safe and brave space that allows for the fullest expression of our light, humanity, ascension, and healing. All right, let's dive in, gems. Gemini. Spirit, what messages do you have for Gemini? What messages do you have for Gemini this month? Woman of Light. I got this one, I think, I can't remember which one it was. I think it was Libra, one of the last readings I did for the eclipse. This was about, I think, an awakened one coming to visit, which can be, it can sound daunting, like, Spirit's just going to ring your doorbell and send you an angel. But maybe it is that easy, right? Maybe it is that easy. Falling. My cat has a lot to say about enlightenment this morning. 3 to 1. Angel of Jupiter, awaken. Woo. Oh, Angel of Jupiter, awaken. I love that. I'm going to read that one to you, actually. I have all my books in the corner over here. There we go. They're all in a basket, nice and neat, because I'm just like that. It also just makes it all in one place, right? So, Angel of Jupiter, awaken. So before I do that, though, let me just give you the overview of what I'm feeling, because there's definitely something here. I think that there's some way that wisdom is coming to you from your guides or from, spiritual teachings or a teacher or a guide, something along those lines. And it's giving you, it's bringing you back to this place of non-duality, oneness, that kind of idea, like we're separating things and moving in to that place of oneness, right? And there's a heart there if you look very closely, and I love this. I mean, obviously that's, you can kind of see it here. I have a tattoo of a heart from my Finding Hearts project, but I think that there's something to this here in terms of romance, but I think this is really about you. This could be falling for someone, but I think this may just be falling for life itself. Like I'm seeing a lot of crown chakra coloring here, and then Angel of Jupiter, awaken, this beautiful heart center coloring and coloration that just sort of is very evocative of a grounded earthiness in it. So let's dive in. I'm going to read this here. So I love this so far. I just peaked. I peaked at the first line. So, my ear's ringing. Yeah. 333 on the time there too. So, Angel of Jupiter, awaken. Beloved, within you there is a magnificence, greatness, and the ability to live bolder, larger, and more exuberantly than you may have ever imagined. Awaken that keen spirit, hungry for adventure and new experience. The Angel of Jupiter, the spirit of bold expansion and divine generosity, lives within you. Your spirit cannot be made small, but must be free. Start now. Feel the endlessness of your own heart. What can be done today to live bigger? A smile, a yes to that offer of adventure. The Sag in me is like, yeah. So a yes to that offer of adventure. Sharing vulnerability without fear. Taking a step forward into the unknown. Daring to imagine that the divine doesn't just happen to you, but happens through you as you. Embrace the courage of your own open heart and dare to dream, beloved. The bold divine nature within you is calling you to great things. Now is your time to awaken. This oracle holds a message of guidance for you. You are being given an opportunity that can change your life. Don't hesitate to accept it. If you are acting with more assertiveness, more generosity, more playfulness, and more spiritual authority than usual, this is confirmation that this is coming from a genuine place within you. If you're experiencing some havoc in your life or a sense that things are changing, this oracle comes as an affirmation. Yes, there is change, and yes, you are outgrowing what once was, so you will be prepared to receive that which is more suited for your next stage of growth. Wow. There's a little poem here I'll read to you. Some of them are okay, and some of them I'm just like, but this one's actually pretty sweet. So, awaken your arms. I wait to stop time, savoring each moment for an eternity. Like an angel, you light the room, your love giving life to the love I've held within. Unbridled and free, our dream unfolds, and we are forever changed. I get the impression this is about expanding, and I think that there's some wisdom that's reaching you right now, Gemini, that's helping you to do this. The falling card, I get my initial take on this is that my initial take let me do this here so you can see more of the table. My initial take on this is that there's a way that you're falling in love with life again. You're falling in love with life again, and I think it's not only helping you to expand what you know right now. The 6 is also the Lover's card in the traditional tarot, so the traditional Rider-Waite. So I feel like, and my ears ringing again. I feel like this is a call to expand, but it's also a choice. We have to choose that, right? We have to choose that. So I'm gonna start to clarify here. This is beautiful energy, Gemini. I feel like there's guides and wisdom that you are connecting with right now. And I think that it's not so much your transformational capacity right now that is expanding as much as it is your communication, and your communication with the divine, with spirit, with the world around you, from your heart space and through it. I think that to me is going to be the most important thing. And I think that I'm getting that this sort of the angelic guidance, but it could also just be guidance coming from a higher source, right? This could be, as something as simple as listening to a song. These could be synchronicities. These could be, hearing a conversation that strangers have at the grocery store. That happens to me a lot, where I'll be walking around, particularly the produce aisle, and I'm just going to let my cat out because she's scratching at the door. I moved the desk over so you do not necessarily get the same ambiance, but she still is high maintenance as ever, and I love her so much, so I'm just going to go let her out. Come on, chicken little. Come on. Okay, she's got to go for her morning run throughout the house. But it happens to me in grocery stores a lot, where I'm like, I'll walk through the produce aisle, and I love going there and just like looking at all the food, if I'm not rushing through, if I've got time, right? So, sometimes you catch little bits and pieces, not intending to eavesdrop at all, but you just hear things, and then it's just like, oh, that's exactly what I needed to hear. You're like, thanks, Spirit, right? So it could be wisdom as simple as that. But I'm getting that this is more connected to a guide for you. And again, there's another heart shape right here. If you look closely, you can see the 2 arches in the heart there. So, and it almost looks like a shell. Like this almost looks like those seashells. My mother and my grandfather, so my grandpa and my mom have brought one back, or had one. They eat I think my aunt has one too, where you hold it up to your ear and you can hear the ocean, right? And I almost get the impression that there's this way that it's like you can hear the expanse when you attune your attention or turn your attention in that direction really closely. So why don't we take a look further here? Spirit, can you clarify this guide coming in? I'm almost getting it to be kind of some kind of masculine figure. Could be an earth sign. Could be an earth sign. You could be getting 2, right? The two of Pentacles here between the Hierophant and the King of Pentacles. That can have alternate meanings as well, but I'm really getting that there's at least one guide coming in. But I get that there's sort of this integration of energies, and I feel like because you could be this woman of light, and gender is pretty much meaningless. Like as a trans person, it doesn't, some people hold to it hard and fast, because it's an identity, right? It allows us to organize our experience neatly. But I think that this is about, if we were to read this in another way, apart from the guides that I feel like you do have coming in, I feel as though this is about you understanding which to listen to, what's most important to you, right? We're balancing here. And sort of holding in this infinitude within us, right? The infinity symbol here. We're recognizing, it's like we are holding and making tangible something that feels infinite. And I think that part of that is breaking with tradition, and part of it is balancing this part of us that is connected in the 3D, but then understanding also equally so what is most important to us. And then the falling here, I think this is, I'm seeing leaves fall from trees, and just how graceful that dance is in the fall. I have to sneeze. Excuse me. Dusty brains. I see that this is looking to me like a recognition of what's most important to you. Yeah, the wisdom. Yeah, the hermit just came out here. And I feel like a lot of masculine energy for sure in this energy here, which could account for the Mars energy that is quite active right now, which is good, right? This is also a taking action. I think that this is a taking action energy balanced by this beautiful feminine energy of the Woman of Light card. And I almost get the impression too that we are moving into an octave of taking action in masculine energy that is also a higher octave, right? We see with things happening in the US right now that there are there's definite lower vibrations, right? Lower vibrations of taking action or taking rights and freedoms to choose away from other people. 1212 on the time. So when we see these things at play, we can start to recognize how we take action and the ways that they can show up in the world, and the way that we're moving away from these things. So I almost feel like this is like a healing of this energy, not just in the world, but also in your own life potentially. The way you take action is not a blasting through, but a shining of the light, because you're wiser now, right? There's a way that you do carry wisdom within you. So then this falling card, it's, some people might be like falling in love, but sometimes I think falling is just this graceful dance, this graceful seasonal dance that we can do that mirrors the natural world around us, where we let fall what needs to fall. This was on the split. We let fall what needs to fall, but then we also recognize the planting of something new. And I think that's the dance that you're doing, is this like falling into this graceful season into your life. And it's not a winter. This is like, imagine if the leaves of spring would fall, but there's something that's breaking apart here. I think Aquarius had a similar reading or similar energy to it, of falling apart. One of them did. Like there's something that's breaking apart here. But it's like a graceful falling. Like I don't get the impression that I don't get the impression that there's really like a lightning strike. If there's a strike, it's that of inspiration, right? We're being woken up. Angel of Jupiter, awaken. And that's a beautiful tower to fall. It's really beautiful, right? That's not the one that happens because there's an earthquake and buildings collapse. This isn't a collapse. This is a very intentional breaking apart with fuses, and when a dilapidated building needs to come down so that something new can be built in its place. That's the kind of tower I'm seeing here. And then this 3 to 1, I think it's beginning to see that there's energies around us that this isn't, I don't read this as third party necessarily. I see this more so in the energy of this is more so recognizing the oneness around us, right? This is falling into that understanding of the love that's at the heart, and not just love in the banality of it, but like the connection to spirit at the heart of whatever it is that's falling apart and breaking apart here. Yeah. I saw the 4 of Swords and the 2 of Wands on the split there when I just cracked it open. And so I feel like there's an element of this that is healing. It's not a shocking tower or a tower that's like, get your red wine, chocolate, and popcorn. It's not like that. It's more so just, it's like grace. Sometimes things fall apart because it's an act of grace that we can't yet see because we don't have, because we, we don't have the same vision. We don't have the same vision as spirit necessarily, right? Okay. What messages do you have for my wonderful Geminis? And by Geminis, I mean Aquarians. Oh my goodness. There could be Gemini in your chart somewhere. This could also be to do with Mercury, right? Communicating these things and communicating through tower moments. 7 of Swords, 4 of Wands, 5 of Pentacles. Yeah, Justice on the bottom. Whoa, with the Empress. Dang. I think that the things that you used to be involved in terms of contracts or long-term things. So we have the 7 of Swords, the 4 of Wands, and the 5 of Pentacles. It's like it left you feeling empty. Like your cup was never full because it felt like people were taking from it. And I think that there's a healing that's taking place here. This could just be an epiphany, this tower, right? But we're realizing something very fundamental about the way we used to do things. The way we used to do things. And it's not like we're never doing that again. It's not from a place of an empty cup yelling, right? Because there's a difference between healing something and talking about it and then yelling about it because we're still in a place of upset about it, right? So when we get into that place of like, screw that, that's never happening again, blah, 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 I'm worth so much more. Yes, all of those things are true, but it's not really healed yet because we can't meet it with a sense of peace. And I'm not advocating for, not responding in ways that honor our emotions. This is more about, yes, this thing is healed, and you will know that it's healed because you will not vacillate between fear that you're being taken from, nor will you vacillate between this or this alternative of feeling like you're left out in the cold and all of those things. So this could be 2 ways that you experienced things recently or long term. This could be ways that you're experiencing, big picture stuff, like and not just in terms of relationship. So I think that's the reason why I'm okay with seeing that here is because I think there's profound healing taking place, right? I think that there's something that is, I don't want to say coming to you, but I think like it's more like there's healing at your doorstep. There's healing at your doorstep. And I think that the conflict that you were seeing outwardly, this Justice card here is like the manifestation of internal conflict projected outward, right? So internal conflict projected outward. And I think that what you're reaching here is a point where you're seeing that the conflict that was inside of you that whole time couldn't help but exist out externally because internally your state and your frequency and your vibration was trained to discord. It was trained to disorder. It was trained to pain. So until there was a healing of that vibration and frequency, fundamentally speaking, it's hard to produce a feeling of stability and security. So I think this is not just a healing card and it's like the Justice card to me is like the cause and effect, right? So I think that this is this is almost like the 3D version of the wheel. The 3D the 3D version of that cause and effect. The wheel to me represents things that are a bit outside of our control. Same thing with the world in that sense too, right? Things that we can only control so much, right? We can't control what skills we're born with. We can't control what we come here with. What we can control though, what we can always control is what we choose to do about it, right? What we choose to make of things. And that can be a very nuanced and complicated choice, yes. But I think that here you're making the choice that honors who you actually are. It honors what it is that you came here to do, not just for yourself, but to heal, right? So I think that that's really, really important. That's really important here. And the Empress card is telling me that there's a grounded approach that integrates the lessons that we've learned before and the lessons that we may have spent, I'm hearing lifetimes learning, that we may have spent lifetimes learning. So I think this is incredible. And if there's a way for a tower to fall, does that not sound like the way a leaf falls gracefully from a tree that recognizes that it's its season to let go? That it's been in a season with which it lets go to make room for new growth. right? I feel like this is the season this is like you looking back at it. And this could be the reason why this guardian angel, this guide, this teacher is here for you, is to help you recognize that what you thought was a tower crashing down around you was just the sound of the wind carrying you, right? So I'm going to clarify this 3 to 1 because I feel like this is almost a consciousness elevation. I feel like this is like a consciousness elevation for you. Yeah. Elevated consciousness. I think like a raising up, a rising up. I'm just gonna, there we go. Whew, the sun was in my eyes. I've probably said it in a couple videos, but I moved my desk closer to the window here because I wanted to bask a little bit more and get some sunlight on my face while I'm doing some of this work, and it gives my little fur baby a chance. She usually curls up somewhere on this side. You can't really see her. She's not on here right now, but it gives her a chance to bask too and be close to me, so that's good. Spirit, what messages do you have for Gemini? I am doing Gemini. I got them mixed up. Sorry, guys. Goodness me. This is definitely a Gemini reading. I know in this row I was like, yeah, for Aquarius. I think that this is, so full stop. The reason why I was reading it that way is there's sort of a collective orientation here. Like this is, we're doing this individually, but then there's a way that we're like looking collectively. We're turning and looking at the collective. And it's not like I'm seeing a podium, like it's not like we're speaking out on anything in particular, but we're better able to articulate what it is that's most important to us. And we're able to help others because we've recognized that we are, it's, I'm hearing Buzz Lightyear, falling with style, right? Like, oh my gosh, I'm legit. I have Pixar characters for guides, honestly. So we have the star. So, okay, wow. So we have the 4 of Swords, we have Temperance, we have Death, and we have the 5 of Cups. I don't know if any of the other ones flipped out. So a lot of major arcana here on this recognition of consciousness. Like there's octaves of how we can look at things, okay? So I'm seeing here, so we have the Star, we have the 4 of Swords, and we have Temperance, and we have Scorpio, and we have the 5 of Cups. These are 2 different kinds of healing. Right? These are 2 different kinds of healing, I think. Now, some people might be like, 5 of Cups is healing? It's a healing, but it's a resistance to healing. This is sort of circling in the pain and staying in perpetuity in looking at what hasn't worked and what's not going the way we want it to. This is one that this is the doing the work, right? This is where we actually get rest from things. This is where we can get into energy of protecting ourselves. There are 2 ways of going about this process. But I think that this is ultimately a healing and transformation of the idea of separateness, the idea of separation. Now, this as well, Temperance. So this is the Sag card, which is about balance. This is about not just balance, though. To me, this is about, I'm seeing the same kind of infinity loop here in the waters, right? And I think this is the sort of, I guess, angelic confirmation, but also potentially the... This is Archangel Michael. I think this, to me, represents this almost consciousness, this intervention of consciousness, where you're realizing this could just be as simple as a pattern interrupt that helps you to like just wake up, like just you're back, like you're back. And what's beautiful, like, have you ever, so I don't take a ton of naps because when I do, I end up waking up feeling like I've slept for like 12 years. The times that I do nap, it's usually like if I'm at a cottage or something like that, and it's like an afternoon and it's like the middle of the vacation. Cause I'm the type of person that likes to, when I'm out and I'm on like little adventures, as it were, I love to like soak up every bit of that adventure. Right. While respecting downtime for sure. But this strikes me as like waking up from a long nap. Like there's something about your soul that's just like waking up right now. Like this is a sort of, not a reawakening of something within you, maybe, but it's like the seeds that you thought, it's like you planted something years ago, possibly in a past life, and you're waking up to it again, and there's something that's stirring within your consciousness in this time, in this lifetime, that is looking towards a more healing view. And I think that you're seeing these two ways of doing things, this Five of Cups versus this Four of Swords. And what I think you're doing here is you're healing this. The star is telling me that you're healing something. Aquarian energy came out here because, like I said, I've been feeling it. Like I've been feeling the I guess, Aquarian facing energy, but the 11th house energy of the collective, but also like, making peace with the ways that you're a bit of an odd duck, right? I think this is a healing energy that is not just healing something here, but this is healing things from before as well. This is healing things from before. So Angel of Jupiter, awaken. What do we have here? Spirit, can you please clarify this beautiful energy of Angel of Jupiter, awaken from our wonderful Geminis? I'm getting like there's like a third eye, like there's some way that you're very connected to messages coming from higher sources with this activation card here on the head. Yeah, ain't that the truth? There's like I'm getting that connection, right? Like this is being very connected to other people, right? Like that truth. There's something fundamental going down here for you, Gemini. I just heard climbing a ladder. It could be like climbing a ladder of consciousness. So to clarify, Angel of Jupiter, awaken, we have Six of Wands. Six of Wands. Six of Swords. Again, 666. I know some people might be like, bleh, but I'll tell you that is largely just, it's, number alignments are funny to me sometimes. 10 of Cups. Yeah. This is, I definitely feel like this is like, there's something that is, I'm hearing a little bittersweet because there's a moving away from, but there's also something you're moving towards, and that is like an ultimate happiness. And I think you've been so busy with these processes or with other things in your life that this kind of sneaks up on you because your back is turned in both of these, right? Your back is turned in both of these. So you're just doing your thing. You're just doing your thing. You're doing your work. You're putting in the time, and you're putting something into the world that is like, I want to say, of value for everyone. Like there's some way that it's very oriented to that with the star card here, right? We're putting something out, and that's where this collective energy is like fusing into this. So, but again, there's something about this, Gemini, that is like an ultimate happiness that's coming in for you. There's a sort of ultimate happiness coming in. But it's not like I don't get the impression that that's something that you were seeking necessarily. Could be, it could be fire, earth, right? Like I said, something coming in, someone coming in, this ultimate happiness. You could, find yourself in a position of either the King of Wands or the Queen of Pentacles. But I feel like it's really just, I'm hearing a marrying of the two different parts of you. So it could be this like very passionate side of you with also a very grounded practicality. Three of Cups. Ace of Pentacles. Yeah, there's the New, and the World too. Amazing. So I feel like this is like, it's what's done is done. And like, I think the beautiful part about the Ace of Pentacles and the World here for me on the Three of Cups is this is like almost a cosmic celebration. Like they released clips of planets having a specific frequency, and like the sound that they might make, it's on YouTube. I would recommend, it's on here. I would recommend looking it up, but it's almost like the planets are singing right now. They're singing the song of your awakening here. Right? We have Mars, we have Pluto, some transformative energy, Mars and Pluto, we've got Mercury. But I think specific to this row, it's a lot of like Saturn and Jupiter energy, right? Saturn and Jupiter together. And I think that the lessons that we learned from this Saturnian energy is what is really allowing, this is where the seeds are flourishing, right? Saturn may feel like a lot of hard work, but it also brings in something that's equally long term, right? When you do Saturnian lessons, which largely are shadow work, it's shadow work and things that require a long term investment from us. This is what it brings in turn, usually, because it means that you're doing the work and not doing the work well. We don't have to do it perfectly. Saturn is not about perfect work. Saturn is about looking at the things in our lives and why they are there. And then also doing a long take, right? Saturn returns happen, I think, 2 or 3 times in our lifetimes. So it's almost like a great halfway point. And they tend to mark what we, in pop culture vernacular could say is like a quarter life crisis and then a midlife crisis. And I feel like we have this language of crisis because we don't tend to it. We don't tend to the garden. We don't tend to the seeds that we plant. Until we are like, oh shit, it's full of weeds. The garden's full of weeds. I guess we should get out a lawnmower. They're like calf height, and we should, and sometimes we do the work and we pull the weeds out of the garden, and then other times we're like, man, wouldn't it be great to put a pool in there? And then midlife crises happen, right? Because we're not dealing with these things. So it's not convenient stuff. It's not stuff that is, it can just be everyday, ordinary stuff, depending on what house it's in, right? I don't remember what house my Saturn is in, but I'm thinking about like Virgo here with the 6th house. Like this is kind of like everyday routines and stuff, right? So if you have that, if there's Saturn lessons that you've been learning in that house in particular, and the way that it aspects other signs or planets in your chart, you could also be looking at the fact that this is like new opportunities that are coming to you through those lessons because they've anchored you. They've anchored you in your life in a way that doesn't just anchor you in the 3D. It also, the places where we anchor in the 3D and get really grounded and do these Saturn lessons are where I get this image of just this light flowing down into our 3D experience, because that's where the light gets in, right? That's where the light gets in. Saturn can be resistance, but I think one of the things that I really had to learn through my own Saturn return in my early 30s is that, the hard stuff is the important stuff. And isn't it beautiful and interesting and wonderful that following Saturn returns are always your Jupiter return, right? Following your Saturn return, usually your Jupiter return. Saturn return happened for me in my early 30s, and then I'm 35, so 36 next year will be a Jupiter return, right? So I think this is a really important message here about when we feel like there's a period of, it's that song Turn, Turn, Turn by the Byrds is coming to mind again. It often does in readings, but I think that this is a lesson that it's not about fate turning the wheel here. I think this is more about you having put in the work. So thanks for coming to my TED Talk. No, I'm kidding. That was just a lot for these 2 cards. So I wanted to highlight that though, Aquarius. Again, I'm looking at the Aquarius card. I wanted to highlight that for you, Gemini. Good Lord. I'm so sorry, my Geminis. You're probably like, oh, freaking Aquarius. No, this is definitely a Gemini reading. That's for sure. Mercury right out of the gate, right? So Spirit, what messages do you have just to clarify this world and just to cap off this reading here for my Geminis, please? Geminis. There are so many different readers that say it different ways. Like I want to be like one person sings it like Gemini, and then another one goes like my Geminis, and I have them all rotating in my head. It's funny. Oh, tarot tube. Knight of Swords, Devil, 10 of Wands, Knight of Cups. Yeah, this is that letting go, right? This is the letting go. I feel like Spirit's like, I'm just going to say it in a different way for you, but same deal, right? Again, we have the Saturn lesson. This is like another way. The deck is just like, I'm going to emphasize the same thing I just showed you with 2 cards, but with 4. right? So we're charging forward now that we've released these Saturn burdens, and burdens not in the sense of like things have been imposed upon us. These are things that we really had to carry with us for a while to understand the full weight of, and to really understand and be able to sift through, right? These aren't accidental things. These are, wands that we're carrying. And we put them down and then we pick up. I think this is us, us as in like you, but like this is you in this position of showing up with a cup of love and putting down the burdens and being able to pick up more of the energy in your heart space. And I think that's not only important, but I think it's a really beautiful energy here. There is something new. Could be a relationship, like the way that a lot of these cards are coming out. It's almost like a hint of a relationship, but it's a relationship that is based on a solid foundation here, a solid foundation that is healing to many people in it. I say many people because if you're polyamorous, multiples, right? So then we have, the Sag and more Jupiter and expansion here. But I think this is really beautiful for you, Gemini. I think this is some, you've put in some work. You've put in, like the cards are telling me that you've put in a chunk of work. So I'm going to pull from the chakra deck now just to get some additional messages for you. Spirit, can you please give me some messages for Gemini, please, and thank you so much. Messages for Gemini. Abundance. See, so this is really beautiful too. When I put these cards down, these ones, I don't think, I just put it right down on whichever one resonates first. I don't give myself a chance to think. Abundance came out on this non-duality and the healing. So I think this is kind of a gateway for it, right? So abundance. I gather easily and effortlessly all that I need to support, nourish, and comfort me. I focus my attention upon all that I am grateful for. There is an abundance of nourishment, support, and love for me. I have. So I get that there's this, I think this is what's bringing in abundance, and you remembering that it's not coming from outside of you, it's coming from somewhere deep within you, Gemini. There's an abundance of nourishment, support, and love for me, and I feel like you're surrounded by that. You're surrounded by it. Courage. Nope, it was on this one. Teach me to think about things in terms of like when I put it down, I was gonna, anyways, I'm not explaining the semantics of it, but so courage. And this is the reason why is I felt the tower here and I was like, this is the one because of all the yellow too, right? Like there's a lot of solar plexus energy in this particular row. Like there's a lot of it. And it's almost like the tower activates this. And that's why, so courage. I have the strength, courage, and willpower to face my fears and see my desires, dreams, and goals through to completion. I release the need to be anything other than who I am in order to succeed. I believe in myself and have the courage to fail and succeed. I am possible. This is also something like, what a profound thing to learn after a tower, right? What a profound thing is knowing that you have the strength and that release. I release the need to be anything other than who I am in order to succeed. That's beautiful messaging. That's beautiful. This is a beautiful reminder from Spirit, I think. Spirit, can you please give me messages for Gemini just to close out this particular portion of the reading? Ooh, sorry about that bang. Soul name. Soul name. It could be that this guide is kind of reminding you of who you are. I get the guide that you have coming in, guidance, wisdom, not just reminding you of who you are, but possibly also reminding you of like this. I'm getting this very like ancient timeline name kind of thing in terms of like not a literal name, but an energy, like a vibration of a name. You know, they talk about the vibration of God and how we can't comprehend what that would be. And I think that that's sort of like your soul name is like this vibratory frequency that you're back in alignment with. There's something that's bringing you back in alignment with it, but there's first a release and then a recognition. And I think that this really allows you on the Angel of Jupiter Awakened to soar. There's something that is allowing you to stand in your power, but also to just soar. Yesterday I was, driving into work and I saw a hawk fly over the road, and just watching it, like it took like three flaps 3 flaps and it was gone, and just that speed and that grace, right? And it's like a reminder that as much as the leaf, thinking about the leaf falling, the other, thinking about other things that glide and soar with grace is going to be really important, because that is something that is within you right now. That's a part of you. Insight, yes. Deeply so. And I think this to me, let me put that there. Whoops, sorry for your precious ears there. I just hugged the microphone, you couldn't see it, but so insight. So I'm getting that this is something that, it's almost like we're seeing ourselves really clearly. We're seeing things really clearly. We're seeing both, 3D and 5D, but we're seeing the way that the present moment offers a bridge to 5D, and that it's not about, being like, oh, cool, I'm in 4D, dip, I'm going to go into 5D now. It's not about that. It's understanding that 5D is an awareness, but 4D is the present moment. And unless we are anchored in the present moment, it's really difficult. We just can't get into that 5D place. We can't. And most of us right now are in this like fourth density, if we were to use the language from the raw contact material, right? And also A Course in Mastering Alchemy. So like if we're bringing these things together, we recognize that there's this bridge in the present moment that we have. There's like a present moment bridge, and what a beautiful thing it is. What a beautiful thing it is. So that's that. I'm going to pull from the Miracles Now deck for you, my wonderful Geminis. My Geminis. Gems. So Miracles Now. Spirit, can you give me some messages to close out this reading, this creative forecast reading for May for Gemini? Some ancestors that just, I got this like image of family, like a family gathering around someone. And I got the words came very clearly to me. We're very proud. We're so proud and very proud of who you've become. So I don't know. I don't think we really change fundamentally in a way that is, we might interpret that, but I feel like this is like a becoming, like there's something that you need to know that your relatives or ancestors, guides are very proud of you. So when in doubt, I choose to see peace. When in doubt, I choose to see peace. And I get that this, with the things, the towers falling and things like that for you, Gemini, I do get that there's a lot of this where it's like we have to choose. We get to choose, right? And it's a courageous choice. This is a courageous choice to remember who we are, And this is where we start to get into real abundance, not the kind of like, I am going to make X amount of dollars this year by this time with this thing, with these groups and with that stuff. It's not about financial abundance. This is about an abundance of spirit. This is about an abundance of consciousness, right? This is just remembering that we're connected to those things. So then here, to relinquish control, I simply let loose and allow myself to be more childlike. That's where I get this image of the leaf falling. Like, can you imagine a leaf laughing, chuckling as it falls to the ground? Because to us, it looks like a season's ending, but the leaf knows. The leaf has an awareness. The leaf is understanding and has so much compassion and is held by the wind as it falls, because it will fall to the ground and become something so much more once it goes into the ground, transforms and becomes a tree at some other point in time, right? I feel like that's this sense of play. So, Gemini, that's what I got for you for your creative forecast for May. So, I hope that this resonated. If it did, I feel like there's a lot of fertile ground here. Thematically speaking, there's a ton of fertile ground here. And I think that there's something that's expanding for you. It may take courage to recognize. It will be something that is abundant and fruitful for you. It is going to remind you of who you are. It is going to remind you of who you are. You are going to feel so playful about it. You're going to feel like a kid. I think that's the part here. You have to choose your perspective though, through all of the little bumps and bruises and things, recognitions and beginnings and all of that stuff. So Gemini, I hope you have a wonderful month. If this resonated, please like and subscribe. It helps me to grow the channel. And thank you so much for watching. I hope that wherever this finds you on the time-space continuum, morning, afternoon, or night, that it finds you well and surrounded by so much love. Take care, my lovely Geminis. Bye for now.